Right, today we're going to be swapping out a sump guard to replace the plastic here. I actually went out and bought from AS3 Performance a metal sump guard. Now this one should be a straight-on bolt replacement. It is for the right generation of Versys. It doesn't clash with any of the crash bars I've already got. And according to the instructions, it reuses 2 bolts on each side, and they're just reused. So once they swap off, I should be able to take them off and bolt on the new crash guard. At least that's the theory. I've not taken off this plastic sump protection aeroness since I actually got the bike, because I've discovered that I can. That's stiff. There we go. I can do my oil service without taking any of this off. This does change now that this guard is in place. Yeah, there is a third bolt, which is interesting. The spacer here. I did not notice that. So that's off all three, and I think, yeah, it looks like all 3 bolts are exactly the same. There are a couple of little spacers here which seem to protect things, but then all of this should bolt off and the new stuff should bolt on. And it looks like it might be 6 bolts, not 2. So I'm just going to nip on the other side and do the same on that side. This is revealing how much filth there is on my exhaust in the bottom half of my sump. That's that one out. Let's see if we can leave this into place. Let's move the plastic out of the way. So I said everything should just get reused. So I can get things finger started. That's not terrible. I'm somewhat nervous about this fitting well. Go on the other side and do the front. I'm struggling to get some of these to position well at all. Right, so I now have 1, 2, 3 on this side. Let's go back to the far side and keep going, because I'm really struggling there. So I've still got one back in here. I've got this front piece to put on, and this middle section. And that is where I am struggling the most. This middle looks like it's really off. Like really off. You can see I've almost got it fitted, and all my bolts are loose, But this one is, well, just not going to go. The actual bolt hole is further up, and to the right, and you can just about see some daylight through that. There's no way this is going to push to fit, and I've been at it for a little while. This is just not fitting well. So what I'm going to do is contact them and see if I can get a refund or a replacement. Hey, so it's been a few months now, and I finally have the bash plate fitted. It's taken a bit of a while to get there because I had to contact AS3 Performance, that's what they're called, AS3 Performance, about the fact that when I was trying to mount it, the holes didn't line up. And what I wasn't sure about was, did they send me the right part? Was it mislabeled? Had it been bent in transit? Is there a problem with my bike? And it actually took about 2 months in the end to get that resolved. Most of that was actually the 2-week delay every time I asked them what the question is. How does this work? Does the mount fit? And when they said it fits on all the other customers' bikes, they actually just sent me pictures from the manual. Now, to me, that's not, it fits on other customers' bikes, look on all these other customers. That's a, it should fit, here it is from the pictures. And you can see in the pictures, it's a different bash plate mount than the one that was being supplied because it's missing the logo. So why they've updated that over time goes on. Now, so after I've gone backwards and forwards multiple times, I've said, would you be able to send me out a replacement one and see if it's actually the part that's got bent, misaligned during manufacturing, because realistically, it's the holes that are out, they either need to be egged out, or there's an issue we can just swap and replace it. They weren't particularly willing to send out replacements because there's nothing wrong with their manufacturing process and they don't think there would be a problem. So we checked the right parts, and in the end, I got offered a discount if I was willing to egg out all the holes so that it would fit and I could make it work, or I could send it back for a refund. Now, I ride the 2014, which is the last year of the Gen 2 Versys, and there is only one manufacturer who supplies bash plates in the UK, which is AS3 Performance. So my choice of sending it back meant I could send it back and I'd have to try and make one myself. While I do a lot of work myself, I'm not a fabricator. I can't weld. I'd like to learn, but I can't weld right now. I'd have to maybe make one out of carbon fiber somehow with the mounting. Definitely an interesting project and something I'd love to do, but maybe not something that I'm capable of right now, and certainly not on my driveway with not a lot of space. So I took the discount and went out and drilled the holes and got those fitted. And so now you can see it's on the bike. I've used it. It does feel protected. I'll give you a bit of a zoom in so you can see how it's had to be drilled out. But overall, I'm not pleased with the customer support of AS3 Performance. I actually got my bash bars from them, which is why I was quite happy to then order the plate. And that went on, the bars went on perfectly. Not a problem at all. The plate, not so much. And it really does feel like either during the manufacturing process, there was a misalignment on one of the welds, or during the delivery and shipment, there was a slight bend, and that's pushed it out. I'm not really willing to kind of force bend it back because it's made of aluminium and it might crack, because I think aluminium cracks under stress rather than steel, which bends. But I'm not sure because I'm not a materials guy. This is not something that I generally fabricate. I'd like to play around with fabrication more, but I just don't know enough. So I'd hesitate to recommend it. It does look good and it feels sturdy once it's fitted, but if you're like me and have a problem, it's a pain. You've got to go through their customer service process. They're not responsive. It takes time. You have to chase them. They kind of fob you off in a way, and that doesn't feel great. And at the end of the day, I'm paying 140 odd quid for a piece of metal. I'd like that piece of metal to fit. This bike hasn't been crashed that I'm aware of. Everything lines up and fits. These plastics go straight on in place correctly and fit beautifully. There's no bend in these plastics that has happened over time. They just I've measured them all up. The measurement points perfectly measured to the frame, so there's not like I mounted to the frame and then it bend it to make it work. So I feel like it is the bash plate, and it is a bit of an issue, and I'm not too happy with the customer support. End result, it works for me because I can't fabricate one myself. So if you are looking for a bash plate, AS3 Performance do make them for multiple years. The Mark II, I can't say I'd guarantee it would be fitting. I'd be interested to see what other people have. If anyone else has bought these before for a Mark II, I'd love to know if it was a straight-on bolt-on replacement. I'd love to know the measurements. I mean, if we could sit down and measure all the bolt patterns, that would let me know, was it mine that's out of alignment? Was it my bike that's out of alignment? And I can't get that information anywhere. So let me know. In the meantime, just before we go, I'll show you where I begged it out, how it's fitting, and what that's revealed to me. Here is where basically I've had to drill out just to make it all fit. On the other side, I've had to do the same thing on the center bolt and also on the forward bolt. So it makes me feel like this whole forward section is just a little bit out of alignment. Not so much on the other side, but I did have to drill it out. This side was a good, say, 5, 6, 7 mil, but it is now fitting. The only problem if you do buy this one is it does reveal this plate here, which is normally hidden underneath the shield, and that needs some love. It's got a little bit of rust on it, so I'm going to have to pop that off at some point, give it a clean. It also does reveal, if like me you have the stock exhaust, the cat, I'm assuming that's what it is, I think it's a cat, and of course you can see now how hideous that is, and it also reveals a lot more of your exhausts, and those also are, in my case, utterly disgusting. But it does open up a lot of the front there, making that much easier to get in and clean. So I think next up on my list will be getting this all cleaned up, getting that all clean, and perhaps spending some time on the exhausts. But overall, bash plate from AS3 there didn't work out well for me, mainly due to their customer experience. I'm happy to modify parts if they come in, but I kind of need to know that expectation up front. And for 150 quid, I don't believe that was a good experience, let alone custom experience wise. All right, thanks very much.